My faith went to another level in the Word of God this weekend. I was reading in the book of Acts, chapter 13, going verse by verse. Paul is in the synagogue and he's giving the history of the Jews. And he says, Israel wanted a king. God gave them Saul. Then it said after God removed him, he raised up David to be the next king. And the way it was worded, I said, wait a minute. After God removed Saul, he raised up David. I was like, Saul was still king. He was still king for several years while David was being raised up. And I said, let me go back to 1 Samuel 15 and see how that's worded. That's the chapter where Saul disobeys God and God rejects him as king. And I looked at the language, and this is what the prophet Samuel said to Saul. He said, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today and has given it to your neighbor who is better than you. David has not been anointed yet. He gets anointed in the next chapter. David has not killed Goliath yet. David has not done anything yet. He's just out in the fields tending sheep. But God said, I have given it to him. Saul would remain king for many more years, but in God's eyes, he had been removed. In God's eyes, he had already given it to David. David would have to spend years on the run from Saul, years questioning, years having his faith tested. And that's how it is for us when our faith gets tested and we wonder, where is God? I thought God said. We have to see things from God's perspective. If he said it, it's done. He removed Saul. He took the kingdom from him years before it actually looked that way on earth. It took years for it to hit the earth. But in God's eyes, it was already done. From heaven's standpoint, it was done. When God speaks a word in your life, when he speaks a word in my life, it is done. That's why faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. We can't see it yet, but you better believe if God said it, it's done. Walk by faith.